You are not Delulu. Say that back to yourself right now, out loud if you have to, because I need you to hear it before anything else I say lands. You are not delusional. You are not making this up in your head. You are not reading too much into it, like everybody keeps telling you to stop doing. And the reason they are scared to reach out, the reason there is this deafening silence coming from the other side, is because they know this is real. They know it. That's the whole twist nobody wants to say out loud. Silence is not proof that nothing's there. Silence in this specific case is proof that something is there, and it's too big for them to handle right now. This is not a game. I want to say it slowly. This is not a game. Because I know it feels like one. I know it feels like you are sitting there, refreshing your phone, replaying the last conversation, picking apart a text from 3 weeks ago, like it's a crime scene, wondering if you invented an entire connection out of thin air. You didn't. And this situation, the one you're in right now, the one that's been eating at you at 2 in the morning, it's out of control. Not out of control like it's falling apart. Out of control like it's bigger than either one of you knows how to manage yet. So sit with me for a minute. Get comfortable, because I'm about to walk you through exactly what's happening on the other side of that silence. And by the end of this, you are going to understand something you've known in your gut for a while, but couldn't put into words. Here's where we start. Right now, today, this person is quiet. Radio silence, basically. Not a word, not a check-in, nothing that would give you any real proof of where you stand. And I know how that silence feels from your side, like a locked door with no handle. But from their side, that silence isn't empty, it's loud. It's the loudest thing in their life right now. Because behind that silence, there is a whole conversation happening. Just not one you're invited into yet. This person is having entire conversation with you in their head. Full ones. The kind where they say the thing they actually mean, where they explain themselves, or where they finally stop holding back. Those conversations are happening constantly. In the shower, in the car, right before they fall asleep, the second they wake up. Usually. And then they look at their actual phone, at the actual thread between you two, and they freeze. Because saying it out loud feels like too much. So what you're looking at when you look at that silence isn't indifference. It's paralysis, yeah. There is a real difference between someone who doesn't care and someone who cares so much they don't trust themselves to say it right. You are dealing with the second one. Let's talk about what's actually been happening between the two of you. Because I don't think this came out of nowhere. Somewhere along the way, there was a stretch of no contact. Maybe it was sudden, maybe it built up slowly, one unanswered message at a time. until you both just sort of stopped. And I want you to notice something about that gap. It's not neutral. Time apart isn't erasing this. It's doing the opposite. This person is stuck mentally. They are looped on you, not in a passive, occasional way, in a way where you show up in their thoughts more than they'd ever admit to anyone, maybe more than they'd admit to themselves. And underneath that loop, there is something almost like a secret about it. Like they are privately, quietly wrapped up in you while showing the world a completely composed, unaffected face. That's the part that should really land for you. This isn't someone casually thinking about you sometimes. This is someone who has built an entire private relationship with your memory, your voice, your presence, and they haven't told a single person about it. That's not nothing. That's everything, yeah. That's obsession with a lid screwed on tight. And I want to be specific about that, about the flavor of what they are feeling, because it's not just mental, it's physical. They are real, there is real chemistry here, real heat, real pull, the kind that doesn't show up for just anyone. This is somebody who feels genuinely, intensely drawn to you, not comfortable drawn, not casual drawn, the kind of drawn where being near you, or even just thinking about being near you, does something to their nervous system. And that's exactly what makes this so complicated for them, because that intensity scares people who are not used to feeling it. Really scares. Some people are built to slow things, for slow, easy, low stakes connection. This person got hit with something that doesn't feel low stakes at all, and it threw them. Imagine it like a building that looks perfectly still on the outside, but inside the foundation is shaking so hard that people within are frozen in peace, afraid that even a single step will bring the whole thing down. That's where they are right now. You are looking at the exterior, seeing nothing moving, and assuming that that means nothing is happening. But inside them, it's a full-blown earthquake, a silent earthquake, the kind nobody hears but everybody inside feels. Our value, taking actions and being bold, yeah. When someone doesn't reach out, it often seems as a lack of interest. But this metaphor flips that script entirely. Their silence isn't a lack of interest. It's a physical inability to move, because the truth of this situation is so overwhelming that they are literally paralyzed by the reality of it. This validates what your intuition has been telling you all along. Something massive is happening beneath the surface, even if nobody else can see it. So why the silence? Why the silence if the feeling is that strong? This is where it gets layered, so stay with me. Part of it is straightforward avoidance. Yeah, this person doesn't want drama. They don't want complications. They are actively, deliberately talking themselves out of reaching out, because in their mind, reaching out equals risk, and risk equals mess. And mess equals the one thing they are trying to steer clear of right now. So they tell themselves a story, sometimes like, it's better if I just don't say anything, or if I bring this up, it will go to blow everything up. And so they sit on it, they resist their own impulse to text you, call you, show up. Every single day, probably more than once a day, there is a moment where they think about reaching out and then physically stop themselves. They are staring at that send button like it's a detonator. That's not nothing either. That takes effort. Silence like this is not passive. It's an active, ongoing decision they are making over and over, and it's costing them energy every single time. Now, here is a piece I have to be honest with you about, because I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. There is a strong chance this person has something else going on in the background. Maybe there is someone else present in their life right now, not necessarily someone they are deeply attached to, but someone who complicates the picture. Or maybe it's not a current person at all. Maybe it's an unfinished chapter with someone from before. An ex they never fully closed the door on. Unresolved history that's still taking up space in their head, even if it's not taking up space in their heart the way you are. Either way, there is a third factor in this equation, and it's part of why they're holding back. It's not necessarily that they are choosing someone else over you. A lot of the time in situation like this, it's less like I want them instead of you, and more, I don't know how to close this other thing out cleanly, and I don't want to bring you into that mess, which again, still not about you not being enough. It's about their own tangled situation. There is also something quieter running underneath all of this, and it's worth naming. This person might be dealing with something completely outside of you, like a family stuff, a work situation, some kind of instability that's making them extra cautious about adding anything new or uncertain into their life. When people are already overwhelmed in one part of their life, they tend to clamp down everywhere else, even in places where they actually want to be open. So if this person seems extra guarded, extra hesitant, know that some of that hesitation might not even be about you specifically. It might be about them just not having the bandwidth to be brave anywhere right now. But let's go back to the obsession piece, because I don't want you to lose that thread. If you two are ever in the same physical space, same friend group, same job, same gym, whatever it is, I'm picking up that this person finds this way into your orbit. Not dramatically, not obviously, but consistently. They position themselves where you can see them. They want to be seen by you, And more than that, they want to watch how you react when you see them. Your attention does something for them. It's almost like a confidence boost, like proof to themselves that they still matter to you, that the connection is still alive even if neither of you is saying it. And in those moments, they will often act unbothered, casual, maybe even a little cold or distant on the surface. That's not the truth of what's happening inside them. That's armor. This is someone who has decided that showing you the full weight of what they feel is dangerous. So they perform indifference while internally they are anything but indifferent. Here's the part that I really want you to absorb, because I think it's the emotional center of my speech. This person is scared, genuinely scared. Not scared of you in a bad way, scared of what it means that you can read them so easily. Because you can. You already know that don't you? You've probably known for a while that something is off, that the silence doesn't match the energy, that there is a disconnect between how this person acts and how this person clearly feels. Your intuition on this has been accurate the entire time. You're not losing your mind, you are just finally seeing the truth for what it is. I want you to actually hear that, because I know part of you has been trying to talk yourself out of trusting your own read on the situation. Stop doing that. Really, stop doing that. You are not misreading this. You are reading it correctly. Your intuition is not a mental glitch. It's your superpower. And it's been working over time, trying to get you to pay attention. And this person knows you're reading it correctly too. They know that you see right through the mask, and that terrifies them. That's what's actually keeping them up at night. Not the silence itself, but the fear. The fear that you can see straight through it. They are scared that you already know exactly what's going on. And that knowing is going to push you away faster than the silence ever could. They are scared. They are scared that you are going to get tired of waiting and give your attention to someone else. And that fear sits with them constantly, especially in the quiet moments, when they are not distracted by work or friends or noise, when it's just them and their own thoughts. That's when you show up the loudest. That's when the whole internal debate plays out again. Should I reach out? Should I say something? Should I finally just tell them the truth? Or is it safer to just let this stay unsaid? They are playing it safe because they know that once they step into this, there is no turning back. This isn't some casual game of cat and mouse. This is a collision of two worlds, and they are not sure they are ready for the impact. Meanwhile, on your end, something similar has been happening, just quieter or more controlled. You've been pulling back too, not because you stopped caring, but because you are protecting yourself. You don't want to misread the situation and end up embarrassed or hurt, chasing something that isn't real. So you have done the work, you have gone a little guarded, a little distant, communicating less, watching more. And here is the thing. This person can feel that shift in you. They can sense in the change in energy, the new distance, the fact that you are not reaching out the way you used to either. And it terrifies them because deep down they know that shift is on them. They know they created this gap by staying silent. And now they're watching it widen and they don't know how to close it without finally saying the thing they've been avoiding saying. There is also this. The less you chase, the less you seek validation, the less you try to force clarity out of this person, the more pull you actually create. I know that sounds almost backwards, but think about how people respond to pressure versus how people respond to steadiness. When you stop grabbing for reassurance, you start radiating something much harder to walk away from, which is security. This person notices when you are not begging for their attention. It doesn't make them lose interest. If anything, it deepens it. Because now there is a version of you they cannot fully predict or control. And that's magnetic in a way that constant availability never is. So, if you have been trying to hold your ground, trying to give yourself some space and stop initiating every single time, know that it's working exactly the way it's supposed to, even if it doesn't feel like it from the outside. You have outgrown the version of them that was comfortable with the old you. And that growth is exactly what's making them take notice now. But let's not pretend this is purely romantic and uncomplicated. Because I don't think it is. I think somewhere in here, there is real affection, actual love, actual emotional attachment, not just physical chemistry. This isn't someone who just wants your attention for an ego boost. There is a genuine emotional pull too, but that emotional pull is tangled up with everything I already mentioned. The fear, the avoidance, the unresolved situation with someone else, maybe some family or life pressure on top of it. So, what you are dealing with is not a simple do they like me or not situation. It's much more layered one. They like you deeply and they are actively choosing not to act on it because acting on it feels too risky right now. They are waiting for the dust to settle. But the truth is the storm is just beginning. The energy is so thick right now, you could cut it with a knife. That's how much tension is sitting in the space between you, even when neither of you is speaking a single word. And here is something that might sting a little, so I want to say it gently. Somewhere along the way, this person has probably hurt you. Maybe not through some dramatic betrayal, more through absence, through not showing up when you needed them to, through leaving you to wonder instead of just telling you the truth. Yeah. If you were expecting some kind of gesture from them, a message, an explanation, anything, and it never came. That disappointment is valid. You were allowed to want more than silence. And the truth is, this person knows they let you down in that way. They carry that. It's part of why the guilt sits so heavy on them now. Part of why the internal debate about reaching out isn't just should I, but also do I even deserve to after everything. Do not let their fear make you doubt your own worth. Their inability to show up says everything about where they are in their own journey, and nothing about whether you are enough. You are holding a mirror, and they are not ready to see their own reflection yet. Still, I don't think this person has given up. There is a sense of them waiting, watching, holding onto some kind of hope that the timing will eventually be right. They are telling themselves that one day, not today, not this week, but eventually, they are going to say what's actually on their mind. Whether that day comes or not is honestly out of your hands. And I want you to really sit with that, because a lot of your peace depends on accepting it. You cannot force someone's timeline. You cannot make someone brave enough before they are ready to be brave. All you can do is decide how much of your own life you're willing to put on pause, waiting for someone else's courage to catch up to their feelings. We are moving past that, past the what ifs, and straight into the it's happening. But that doesn't mean it's happening on a schedule that feels comfortable. The universe doesn't consult our calendars when it's orchestrating something this significant. Doesn't consult, unfortunately. Now, let's talk about what this actually costs, because I don't think either of you is walking away from this silent unscattered. Every day this person doesn't reach out, something in them gets a little heavier. They are not living in peace over there. Don't picture them scrolling through life totally fine while you are stuck feeling everything. They are carrying this too. The guilt, the longing, the constant internal argument to more than you. That's exhausting. It's its own kind of prison, just a quieter one than yours, because at least you know what you're feeling. They are stuck pretending they don't feel it all, which might honestly be worse. Imagine holding something that intense inside you every single day and never let it out. Imagine performing calm on the outside while your inside is completely loud with something's name. That's the life this person has built for themselves right now, and it's not sustainable. Something has to give eventually. Either they find the courage to say something, or the pressure of holding it all in starts to change them, makes them more withdrawn, more anxious, more disconnected from the people around them. Because so much of their energy is being spent managing this one unspoken thing. If it feels heavy, it's because it's important. The weight you are carrying isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something significant is happening. Here's the piece I really need you to take with you, more than anything else in this whole speech. You are not the one who's confused here. You are not the one who is inventing a connection that isn't there. You have accurately, intuitively picked up on something real, a genuine pull, a genuine hesitation, a genuine internal battle happening on the other side of that silence. This person is scared, not indifferent. They are avoidant, not uninterested. There is a real emotional current running under all of this, and your read on it has been right there, right the entire time. Even when everyone around you was telling you to let it go, to stop overthinking, to move on, because if they wanted to, they would. That advice, as common as it is, doesn't actually account for people who are dealing with fear, unresolved situations, or overwhelming life pressure on top of real feelings. Sometimes people do want to, and they still don't. Because wanting to isn't the same as being ready to. Sometimes. So this situation is off the charts. You cannot use old rules for a new level of connection. What works for casual situations doesn't apply here, because this isn't casual. This is a seismic shift in both of your lives, and pretending otherwise is just avoiding the truth. So, where does that leave you? Honestly, in a position of power, even if it doesn't feel like it. You know the truth now. You know this isn't in your head. You know the silence has a reason behind it that has nothing to do with you being unworthy or unwanted. That knowledge changes things. It means you get to stop torturing yourself with the question of whether you imagined this whole connection. You didn't. You didn't. What you get to decide now is something different. Not whether this is real, because it is, but how much longer you're willing to hold space for someone who isn't ready to meet you where you already are. You can keep the door open a little if that feels right to you. You can give this some more time, especially if your gut tells you the timing genuinely isn't right yet because of everything going on around them. That's a valid choice, yeah. But I want you to hold that choice with clear eyes, not with desperation. There is a difference between waiting because you trust the process and waiting because you are scared of what it means if you stop. You already have your answer about how they feel. What you're actually waiting on now is their courage. And that's a different kind of waiting. One that requires you to protect your own peace while it plays out, instead of putting your whole life on holding a hold for it. Trust the process, even when the silence feels like a brick wall. Trust that everything you've been sensing is accurate, and trust that whatever happens next is part of a bigger picture you might not be able to see fully yet. And whatever happens next, whether this person finally breaks the silence or whether they stay stuck in it a while longer, I need you to walk away from this understanding one thing clearly. You were never delusional for feeling what you felt. The chemistry was real. The connection was real. The way your intuition kept nudging you, telling you something was there, even when the silence said otherwise. That was accurate. This situation didn't get complicated because you misread it. You got complicated because it's genuinely a big deal to both of you, bigger than either of you fully knows how to handle out loud yet. That's not small. Yeah, that's not small, forgettable thing. That's not a game either of you playing casually. That this is real. This is real. It's out of control in the sense that it's bigger than either of you expected. And the fact that it scares them enough to stay silent is in its own stage way proof of exactly how much you actually mean to them. You were never crazy for seeing that. You were paying attention the whole time. I also want to leave you with something practical, because my feelings, what I said to you, shouldn't just leave you sitting with feelings. It should leave you with a little more clarity about how to actually move through things. First, stop asking yourself whether this is real. That question is answered. It's real. Redirect that energy instead into watching for the small signs that this person is starting to crack, like a random check-in after months of nothing, like on something you posted, showing up somewhere they know you will be, asking a mutual friend an offhand question about you. Those little moves matter more than you think. They are not accidents. They are this person testing the water, seeing the door is still even slightly open before they risk stepping all the way through it. You don't have to close the door. You don't have to chase those moments or read too much into every single one. But don't dismiss them either. They are data. They are this person here slowly losing the argument to their feelings. Second, keep living your life exactly the way you have been, with your attention on yourself, not glued to your phone waiting for a name to pop up. I know that's easier said than done when someone takes up this much space in your head, but the steadiness you've been holding onto is doing more work than you realize. It's not coldness. It's not giving up. It's you refusing to shrink your life down to the size of someone else's hesitation. That's exactly the energy that gives a scared person room to eventually be brave, because nobody finds courage faster when they feel pressured or chased. They find it when they sense that the person on the other side is not going to fall apart waiting, but also isn't going anywhere out of spite either. You occupying your own life fully, calmly, without performing indifference or desperation. That's the most magnetic place you can stand in right now. And the third, give yourself permission to feel however you're feeling about all of this without judging yourself for it. It's completely normal to feel frustrated one day and hopeful the next. It's normal to want to reach out and also feel proud of yourself for not doing it. Yeah, it's normal to wonder if you're wasting your time, and then remember in the next breath that everything you've picked up on has been accurate this whole time. Emotional whiplash, yeah, is part of loving someone or almost loving someone who hasn't found their footing yet. You're not weak for feeling it. You're human. We're all humans. You are someone who cared deeply enough to pay attention when most people would have just walked away and never looked back. That says more about your strength than any silence could ever take from you. So here is where I leave you. This is not a game, and it never has been, not on your side and honestly not on theirs either. Even if their silence has made it feel that way. What's out of control isn't your judgment. It's the size of what's actually happening beneath the surface, bigger than either of you has said out loud. You're not Delulu. You never were. Trust what you've been seeing. Protect your peace while you wait to see if they catch up to it. And know that whatever they decide, you were right about this connection from the very beginning. You knew it then, you know it now, and no amount of silence will ever change that fundamental truth. The earthquake is real, even if the surface looks still. And eventually the ground has to shift. Yeah, eventually has to shift.